Well, hello everyone and welcome to FranTastic InSights, where we provide insights from some of the coolest people in franchising. My name is Alesia Visconti. I am the president and CEO of FranServe and Franchise Dictionary magazine. Now, FranServe is the largest franchise consulting organization in the world. And our mission is really very simple. We help people's dreams come true of business ownership through franchise ownership. And we do that through a network of incredible franchise consultants and franchise brands that are our partners. Today, I have to say I'm very fortunate. I have one of the best with us, Laura Blackmore, who is a certified franchise consultant and the CEO of Blackmore Franchise Consulting. Hi, Laura, and welcome to FranTastic InSights.
Hi, Alesia. I appreciate having me here. I'm excited to talk.
Our pleasure. I know you are busy, and we so appreciate you coming on board and talking a little bit about your experience and how you help your clients. Now, can you explain to the audience what a franchise consultant is? Sometimes when I'm speaking and I say that, I get that puzzled look of, what the heck is a franchise consultant? So if you could kind of share your thoughts on that, that would be great.
Sure. I look at it as more of like a project manager. You're helping people that are thinking about getting into franchising or business ownership, or they don't know what. Do they want to change, whatnot? They're thinking about this world of franchising, and it's helping people step through that process. And I tell people it's usually an 8-week journey, but it can be months on end. It can be a little quicker, but not too much quicker. But trying to summarize it, I guess, would be best to say to help people identify strong brands to match their objectives, their goals, their budget, and then to align that with the culture they want to work with and with all their little check marks or what they think. And they have to sometimes go back and really think about what those are, right? And so it's through a series of conversations and really I listen to what they're saying, what they're not saying, and trying to come up with the right fit. Sometimes they know what franchise or what industry. And so it's just, again, helping them through that process. What should they expect each step of the way? Understand that they are not immediately awarded a franchise because they have money. So just understanding that what they're required and what they expect to do, what to look for, and how they need to trust their gut as they're stepping through. Because just because it's good for some people, it may not be good for them. So it's just this journey. And I tell people at the end, if you do it properly, you'll know if you should be 1 in business or 2 with this particular franchise.
That's such a great point where you're talking about it's an individual journey. I know when I was a franchise consultant, sometimes I would ask people, what they were looking at, and it was, well, my cousin Susie said that this is a good brand. And of course, when we start to explore it, it might be right for cousin Susie, but it wasn't right for my client. So as you said, asking questions and listening, very important concept when you're a franchise consultant. And as you're helping your candidate explore opportunities, how does your service work? Is there a charge to your clients for your services? How does that all work as a franchise consultant?
Right. So no, there's no charge directly to them. I am paid by the franchisor if we find the right fit. So that's why those questions are so important. That's why it's important to match them, set expectations, make them understand, make sure that they have the right financial criteria as well, so they will fit into the system. But no charge to them, and there's no incremental cost. That is regulated by the FTC. So it is all listed out. Their fees stay the same regardless of working with a franchise consultant. So hopefully we can save them some time, effort, and money.
Right. And, I tell you something, I know also when people start exploring business opportunities and franchise ownership, they often are very excited and they want to explore everything. And then very quickly they can become, overwhelmed or confused because there's so many options out there, and how do you narrow it down? And isn't that part of your process, is helping them to not only decide what brands might be great for them to look at, but really to discern what brands aren't a good choice for them to
Absolutely. And then sometimes you'll see the journey they take when they come in with, I want only semi-absentee, this is what I want to do, I want to make this kind of money, or this, that, and the other. And then as you start exploring, you'll find that no, that really isn't the fit. And maybe at the end of the day, I just had a candidate that this is what she wanted. She was retired. The more we talked, she was so meant for senior care. And that's what she ultimately ended up doing. So kind of went full circle to, she did not want to be full-time to she's full-time, but it's just perfect. But yes, so it takes a journey on its own for sure.
It does. And really, that's really the role. So it's great. Now, if you could just explain to the audience a little bit about your background, how you got into being a franchise consultant and what that means to you on a daily basis as you help your candidates.
So yeah, I got into it maybe similarly to other people getting, ready for changes. I was, my background in public accounting and then in CFO for many years. So I have a financial background. Numbers person, always fall back to numbers and I felt safe when I was ready for a change. I needed to it was just time for me. I did what I could do at the business I was at. And so I was looking for a job, and then I thought, I don't want any new CFO role. I'm going to be working 80 hours a week. I'm going to have to start traveling. That was not in my check marks of what I could do. I could not go on to that kind of journey again. I kind of paid those dues, I felt. So I stumbled across an ad for franchise consulting. I'm like, what is this? I didn't know what it was, right? Very interesting. And as it was with a different company, but then I started doing research, right? And came across and spoke to somebody and they introduced me to FranServe. And it was all the things that I didn't even know that I wanted at the time. And so I think I can use my corporate experience, a lot of corporate experience and my financial background. I've managed sales teams too. So trying to use all that to keep the process moving. So I'm organized and I can help people stay organized through that journey.
Great, awesome. And talk a little bit about how you use that skills. You have a story of perhaps how you influence someone or help them to discover the brands that might be right for them. Can you share a story of one of your success stories with your candidates?
So yeah, I did some local networking. I've been in a network group for over a year at this point, and met this wonderful woman. She just unbelievable background. She was an adjunct professor, a lot of B2B sales experience. She was incredibly dynamic. And we got to talking about what we do. And she was like, franchises. She was looking. She was actively looking. She was already further down in the process with some, again, B2B type of settings. And so I just was there as a resource to talk to. And turns out we met again, every few months, but met again in 6 months, so a year later, I think it was. And she said, well, those fell through, but now I'm actively looking to purchase an existing sales training franchise. So she was working on that, and that fell through for her as well. The owner decided he wanted to keep his business. So I was positioning this franchise that is nothing like what she said she wanted. And I presented it often to our group because it was just a fantastic franchise, recurring revenue, great culture, leads came to you with fantastic SEO that they build out, just a great, well-oiled machine in an industry that's not sexy. So the competition is unsophisticated. And then in constant recurring revenue, which speaks wonders to a lot of people's ears. And I knew she'd have a challenge with this because I didn't even intend for her to specifically think about it. But she came up to me after a meeting and she said, tell me more about that business you're talking about that you're saying somebody should get into in this local community. And I said, okay, but it's not sexy and it's not professional. It's not B2B. Are you going to be okay with that? I'm just looking for a solid experience. I'm not getting to where I want to get with what I'm doing. So lo and behold, she was, wonderful to work for. She's excelling in that business. And as she started in that business, she got breast cancer. It was horrible to hear. And so we're friends, and I saw some posts and she shared, it was all kismet, Laura, because this is the best franchise I could possibly be in with this experience. They're so good to her. And then she also learned that her team was well-trained and well-oiled, and they would do it for her. She did not have to be in there day in, day out overseeing. And so it's kind of a neat journey. And now she hires domestic violence victims. So her life was changed, but she's changing more people's lives. And that's my favorite thing is when I see the impact of the people that we've helped, how they're impacting their communities. That is incredible.
So thank you for sharing that story, Laura, because really when you hear something like that, I hear it in your voice when you're retelling it, the emotions that are there, and you see how it is a community in franchising, right? You see it so much, and that is why one of my favorite hashtags on social media that I use is changing lives. I see it over and over again in franchising, that it doesn't just affect the person who owns the franchise now, but also their family, also their employees, also their community. And your story is really so heartwarming and a perfect example of that. So I want to just thank you for being a franchise consultant and changing so many people's lives.
Thank you. I love it.
It's very obvious that you do. It's very obvious that you do. And, you know, I appreciate your time, and I value your time being here. You know, what's the best way for the audience? If someone wants to explore franchise ownership and they want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Either through my website, which will be listed below, along with Blackmore Franchise Consulting, or on LinkedIn. My name, Laura Blackmore. Find me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with you.
Great. So website, LinkedIn, and yes, everyone, we will take a look either below or above this post. You'll see it in the comments. We'll have opportunity for you to reach out to Laura. And I will tell you, if you're interested in being a franchise consultant like Laura, you're welcome to contact us at our website, FranServe.com, or connect with us at connect at FranServe.com. So I want to thank you, Laura, for your time. You've been absolutely terrific. Is there any last words that you want to share before we wrap up our FranTastic Insight episode?
I really appreciate this time. I enjoyed talking about it. And just for people that are thinking about it, just explore, take the time and learn a little bit more. You might be surprised what you can accomplish.
And that's a great point, because again, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And working with a consultant can really reduce a lot of the anxiety or confusion when you start to look at franchise ownership. So again, Laura, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here. And audience, thank you again for another FranTastic Insights episode.
Thank you.